Now, what are the types of DNA? Last day itself we discussed there are different types of DNA. So under different conditions or on the basis of number of base pair and right or left-handed helix, okay, based on the number of base pair and whether they are the DNA duplex are right-handed helix or left-handed helix, the DNAs are more than 12 forms. Okay, so DNA are more than 12 forms. 12 forms of DNAs are the okay. The major forms are we are moving to discuss. Okay, the major forms are A, B, C, D, and Z. Okay, so the major forms of DNA are A DNA, B DNA, C DNA, D DNA, and Z DNA. Okay, these are the 4 major forms of DNA out of this 12 form. Okay, and let us discuss what are the major properties. Let me draw a box. It will be more helpful. So, types of DNA. Types of DNA. Then, type of helix. Type of helix. Then, come to number of base pair per turn. Number of base pair per turn. Then properties. What are the major properties? Okay. So first one, A-type DNA. First one is A-type or ADNA. ADNA is right-handed helix. ADNA is right-handed helix. Okay, right-handed helix. So altogether we can say DNA A, B, C, and D DNA. A, B, C, and D DNA are right-handed helix, whereas only Z DNA are left-handed helix. Okay, that is one common. Okay, then among all these DNA, B DNA is most common DNA and are metabolically stable DNA. Okay, B DNA is most common DNA and are metabolically stable DNA, and it is believed that during transcription B DNA is changes to A form, that we will discuss. Okay, then it is right-handed and the number of base pair per turn, it is 11. 11 base pairs you can see per turn. Okay, in case of B DNA it is 10, we already discussed. Okay, then there is not that much properties are there. Then come to B DNA. B DNA is also right-handed helix, RHH, right-handed helix, 10 base pair per turn, 10 base pair per complete turn. Okay, most stable and most common form which is described by Watson and Crick. Okay, it is the most stable and common DNA. Most stable and common DNA. Okay, then come to the next step, that is C DNA. C DNA also are right-handed helical DNA and 9.5 or 1/2 base pairs you can see per turn. Okay, and C and D types occur under artificial condition. Okay, that is we will discuss D DNA. D DNA, it is also right-handed helix DNA and you can see 8 base pairs per turn. Okay, both the cDNA and DNA you can see only in the artificial condition. Artificial condition. Okay, then finally Z-type DNA. Finally, Z DNA. Z DNA is the only left-handed helical DNA. Left-handed helix DNA. Okay, and you can see 12. You can see 12 base pair per turn. You can see 12 base pair per turn. Okay, and the sugar phosphate rail. Okay, sugar phosphate rail means that complete sugar phosphate, that strand is zigzag, is in the form of zigzag. Okay, So zigzag. That is why it is called as ZDNA. Zigzag direction. That is the sugar phosphate rail is in the zigzag direction. Hence, it is named as ZDNA. And the pitch of ZDNA is 45 Armstrong and the diameter is 18 Armstrong. Okay, diameter is 18 Armstrong, and if you see the pitch, that is the complete length of the DNA of a complete turn. Okay, that is called 45 Armstrong. 45 Armstrong. And if you see in BDNA, that is the diameter is what? The diameter is 20 Armstrong. Okay, 20 Armstrong, and the pitch is 34 Armstrong. We already discussed at the time of structure of DNA. Okay, so these are the different types of DNA. These are the different types of DNA. Okay, and on heating, okay, and at the time of transcription, transcription is the process of formation of mRNA from the template strand. Okay, we will discuss what is transcription at the time of transcription. And so when or during transcription, the BDNA, that is the common DNA, which is changed to aDNA at the time of transcription. At the time of transcription. Okay, at the time of transcription. Okay, then on heating, the two strands of DNA separate from each other. So on heating, two strands may separate. Two strands of DNA may separate. So this process is called melting. This process, which we will call as melting. On called melting. Okay, and on cooling, they again hybridize. On cooling, they again hybridize. Okay, hybridize. So that process is called annealing. That process which we call as annealing. Okay, melting is on heating, the two strands of DNA separate. That process is called melting. And on cooling, that separated strands of the DNA again hybridize. That process is called annealing. Okay, then the temperature at which the two strands separate completely. Okay, it is called melting temperature. The temperature at which the two strands melt completely. Sorry, two strands separate completely. That temperature is called melting temperature. Melting temperature. Okay, so the temperature at which the two strands of a DNA separate completely is called melting temperature. That is called Tm, capital T and small m. Okay, so which is specific for each sequence. It may be specific for the each sequence. Okay, then if one sample of DNA has more Tm, this means that it has more CG pairs. Okay, which means triple bond makes the strand more strong. Okay, triple bond makes the strand more strong. So having stronger bonds, that is 3 hydrogen bond, if there is a stronger bond, which means it is difficult to break. It is difficult to break. So obviously the Tm will increase. The Tm will increase. Okay, so when we can say when CG pairs increases, when CG pair increases, Tm increases. That is, the temperature for separating two strands should be increased when CG pairs are increased. Why? Why? Because there is 3 hydrogen bonds are present, so it is more stronger. So when 3 hydrogen bonds are present, it is difficult to separate the two strands. Okay, so that is what saying if a DNA strand that having more CG base pairs, it is difficult to separate. So obviously the melting temperature also increases. Okay, so these are about the forms of DNA. Then come to some other types of DNA. Okay, the part of genome in which repetitive sequences are arranged end to end as a long tandem array. Okay, there are different other type of DNA that are. First one is satellite DNA. First one is satellite DNA. Satellite DNA. When the repetitive sequence of a genomes are arranged. Okay, the repetitive sequence of a genome are arranged end to end in a long tandem array. Okay, so the repeated sequence are coming in a long array. It is called satellite DNA. Okay, so satellite DNA was first type to be identified in the human genome. So satellite DNA is the first type of DNA which is identified in human genome. Human genome. Then next type is repetitive DNA. Repetitive DNA. Repetitive DNA which occur in the telomere, centromere and also in transposons. You can see in telomere. Telomere is the end of chromosome. Then centromere is the central part of chromosome. Centromere. Then you can see at the end of transposon. Transposon. Okay. In Drosophila, about 20% of DNA are repetitive DNA, and in human beings, 30% are repetitive DNA. Okay. In Drosophila, if you take the complete DNA, among the complete DNA, 25% DNA are repetitive, and in case of human, if you take the complete DNA, 30% of them are what? Repetitive. Repetitive DNA. Repetitive DNA. Okay. So these are about repeated. Then palindromic DNA. Third one is palindromic DNA. What are palindromic DNA? Do you know what is meant by palindromic sequence? Palindromic sequence means if you are reading a word from this direction and this direction, both you will read as same. For example, this is called Malayalam. Okay, so if you read from here, it is called Malayalam, and if you read from here also, it is called Malayalam. That is the palindromic sequence. You may get so many words which comes under this palindromic sequence. Okay, so palindromic DNA is a part of DNA in which the base sequence of one strand is opposite to that of other strand. Base sequence of one strand is completely opposite to the other strand. When you read from the opposite direction, you can see same as the other strand. Okay, that is what palindromic DNA. Okay, the DNA regions that transcribe RNA are often palindromic. Okay, so the DNA regions which are required for the formation of rRNA, they are palindromic DNA. Palindromic DNA, which you can see where there is rRNA production is there. Okay, where the region of DNA, the DNA region which transcribe rRNA are often palindromic DNA. The true significance of palindromic DNA is, however, which is not clear, although several functions have been suggested for the palindromic DNA. They may function as a recognition site of DNA for proteins. Okay, so many functions are there. Recognition site, like example in lac repressed protein. We will study what is lac operon. Okay, so lac repressed protein, CRP protein, and many other restriction enzymes, they may act as a recognition site, and it also gives structural strength to the transcribed RNA by hydrogen bonding. Then it also provides it helps to contain coding genes. Okay, so long palindromic DNA molecules from some lower eukaryotes have been shown to contain coding genes for ribosomal RNA. Okay, ribosomal RNA. So these are some points or some functions which is done by palindromic DNA. Okay, actually it is not clear, but some functions are there. Then promiscuous DNA. What are promiscuous DNA? Promiscuous DNA. It is a special type of DNA which makes movement between mitochondria, chloroplast and nucleus. Okay, so it makes movements between nucleus, mitochondria and plastic. Plastic means chloroplast. Okay, so you can see promises DNA which shows movement between these nucleus, mitochondria, chloroplast. Okay, and it was discovered in 1983 in Cambridge University in the plant maize. Okay, so the promises DNA are find out or discovered from the plant maize, and it was later reported in another organism also, in yeast, mung bean, spinach, peas. Yeast, mung bean, spinach, peas, etc. Okay, so first it is discovered in maize in Cambridge University, and later it is also it can found in some other organism like yeast, mung bean, spinach, peas. Okay, then we already discussed what is repetitive DNA. Multiple copies of DNA having the same or almost the same base pair, which are tandemly arranged. Which you can see at the telomere, centromere, and end of transposomes. Okay, then in higher organism, 20 to 90% of DNA is mainly repetitive. In human, it is 30%. Okay, so these are about the types of DNA. Okay, different forms of DNA and different types of DNA. And then come to the next area, that is DNA packaging. DNA packaging. How DNA are packed inside the nucleus? How DNA are packed inside the nucleus? A typical the DNA packaging which is best explained by the model, solenoid model. Okay, the DNA packaging is best explained by the model solenoid. You may hear this word solenoid in physics. Solenoid model. Okay, there are 5 classes of histones are present. 5 classes of histones are there. 5 classes of histone proteins. Histones are there. That is H1, H1, H2A, H2B, H3, H4. Okay, 5 classes. H1, H2A, H2B, H3 and H4. H1, H2A and H2B. Okay, among these H1, H2A, H2B. Okay, H1, H2A, H2B. These 3 histones, they are rich in lysine. They are rich in the amino acid lysine, and you see the H3 and H4. H3 and H4 are rich in the amino acid arginine. Okay, H1, H2A, H2B, they are rich in lysine, and H3 and H4 are rich in arginine. Most conserved histones are H3 and H4. H3 and H4 are most conserved histone. Most conserved histone, and if you see H1 are the less conserved histone. Okay, then what are nucleosomes? Nucleosome contain DNA plus histone octamer. So nucleosome. What are nucleosomes? So DNA are arranged in the form of nucleosome actually. Nucleosome. Nucleosome contain DNA plus histone octamer. Histone octamer. Octamer means the 4 histones which are present in duplex. H2A, H2B, H3, H4. They are present in duplex. They are present in duplex. Okay, that's why it is called as octamer. That is why it is called as octamer. Histone octamer has 2 molecules of histone, H2A H2B, H3 and H4. So this histone octamer has two molecules or duplets of H2A, H2B, H3, H4. Okay, DNA take 1.8 left-handed turns around the octamer. So suppose 1, 2, 3, 4. Suppose you think this is H2A, H2B, then H3, H4. Just think this is 4, but beside backside also 4 is there. Okay, backside also 4 is there. Okay, that is the 3D view. There also 4. So it is the octamer. It is the octamer. Okay, and the DNA will come. Okay, DNA will come and bind the octamer. DNA will come and bind the octamer. Okay, so DNA will come and twist the octamer. And again there is another octamer molecule be present here. Another octamer will be present here. Again it will go and it will twist it. Okay, and this twist again will move like that. What happened? Okay, so like this the DNA will twisted around the octamers. Okay, octamers contain two molecules of H2A, B, H3 and H4. And if you see the length of this twisting around the octamer, it takes 1.8 left-handed turns around. It is not the complete 2 turn. 1 complete turn and 0.8. Okay, 1 complete turn and 0.8. Okay, DNA length is shortened about 7-fold by winding around the nucleosome. So by winding around this nucleosome, the DNA length is decreased by 7 times. Okay, 7 times the DNA length is decreased. A typical nucleosome contains 200 base pair. So a typical nucleosome contains 200 base pair of DNA duplex. Okay, so if you see this under the microscope, you can see it is look like a beaded chain. Okay, so nucleosome forms chromatin in the form of bead on string. So DNA it is act as a string, and this nucleosome it may look like bead. Okay, then so this is the nucleosome, that is this is the nucleosome, and this is the wrapped DNA. And this is the linker DNA. Linker DNA means which links to nucleosome. Obviously you will ask, where is the H1 histone? H1 histone is present in the linker DNA. H1 histone is present in the linker DNA. Okay, H1 histone. Then the chromatin contains or supercoil at metaphase stage to form chromosome. So actually this condensation takes place in the metaphase stage. Okay, packaging of the chromatin to chromosome. Packaging of the chromatin stage to the chromosome occur with the help of additional set of proteins called non-histone chromosomal proteins. Okay, these are histone proteins. Non-histone chromosomal also required for the further packaging. Non-histone chromosomal protein, NHC, non-histone chromosomal proteins. NHC, non-histone chromosomal proteins are high molecular weight protein. They are high molecular weight protein having amino acid, tyrosine and tryptophan. Okay, so the non-histone proteins. the non-histone proteins. Non-histone proteins, non-histone chromosomal proteins are also required for the packaging of DNA. They require the amino acid. They contain two amino acids, that is tyrosine and tryptophan. Tyrosine and tryptophan you can see in non-histone chromosomal proteins. Okay, on the basis of packaging, we can classify there are two types of DNA, euchromatin and heterochromatin. On the basis of packaging, euchromatin and heterochromatin. Heterochromatin. Euchromatin is transcriptionally active DNA. They are transcriptionally active and they are loosely packed, having rich in gene concentration. Loosely packed, rich in gene concentration. Loosely packed, rich in gene concentration, and they are lightly stained. Lightly stained means lightly, if you see under the microscope, you can't see that much prominent, you can see. That is lightly stained. Okay, and come to heterochromatin. Opposite, transcriptionally inactive. Okay, transcriptionally inactive. Then they are densely packed. Transcriptionally inactive. They are densely packed and darkly stained. Okay, so these are the two types of chromatin on the basis of packaging. These are the two types of chromatin. Okay, and if you see the structure, that is beaded on string structure. Let me try to draw. This is nucleosome. And the DNA. Okay, DNA. Okay, this will be somewhat the beaded string, and this is the nucleosome. Wrapped DNA, linker DNA, which connect to nucleus. Okay, so this is the beaded on string structure. Okay, then if you see, the nucleosomal organization provide a chromatin fiber approximately 10 nanometer in thickness. That is, by this structure, it will provide the chromatin fiber approximately 10 nanometer in thickness. 10 nanometer thickness. That is, the chromatin will become 10 nanometer thickness. Okay, so which get further condensed to produce a solenoid model. Further, it is again condensed to, so this 10 nanometer thickness is the nucleosomal arrangement, nucleosomal organization. Okay, then further this is again twisted. Okay, further it is again condensed to form 30 nanometer thickness in solenoid organization. That is 30 nanometer diameter. Okay, this solenoid structure undergo further coiling. further coiling. Actually, what is our motive? Our motive is to decrease the length of the DNA by increasing the thickness. Decreasing the length of the DNA by increasing the thickness, so that we can easily make it arrange inside a nucleus. We can easily situate or place the DNA inside the nucleus. Okay, that is our main motive. So this solenoid model, okay, the solenoid structure is undergo further coiling to produce a chromatid of 70 nanometer thickness. Okay, chromatid of 70 nanometer thickness. 70 nanometer thickness. Okay, so that is we will call that radial loops. That arrangement is called as looping, radial looping. Okay, so in that radial looping, which we can see the chromosomes, we can see the DNA under the light microscope. We can see the DNA or the chromatid structure under the microscope using on the stage 70 nanometer. Okay, on the stage 70 nanometer, which we can see the DNA. Okay, a nuclear scaffold formed by non-histone proteins holds all the folded loops of chromatin. So these folded chromatin, the 70 looped folded chromatins, are connected with each folded by using this non-histone chromosomal protein. Okay, so the non-histone chromosomal proteins, they will fold, they will hold the folded scaffolds together. Okay, then if you see the order of packaging, if you see the order of packaging, it will be from DNA to, if you see the order of DNA packaging, order of DNA packaging, so it want to start from DNA. It starts from DNA. Then DNA will become twisted in the histone octamer. Histone octamer. DNA histone octamer. Then it forms the structure nucleosome. It forms the structure nucleosome. Okay, I forgot to tell one thing. In one solenoid, 6 nucleosome will be there. 6 nucleosome will be there in one solenoid. Okay, actually I forgot to tell. So in one solenoid, 6 nucleosome will be there. Okay, so DNA it will twisted around the histone octamer, so that structure is called nucleosome, and 6 nucleosome combine. 6 nucleosome, they combine together to form solenoid. Solenoid. Okay, and another thing which gives 7 solenoid will be present in 30 nanometer fiber. Okay, 7 solenoid present in 30 nanometer fiber. 30 nanometer fiber structure, you can see 7 solenoid. Okay, then 30 nanometer fiber will become chromatin and it will become scaffold structure. Chromatin. Then next structure is the protein scaffold. Protein scaffold. Then finally it will become the radial loops. In this radial loops, which we can see the chromatin under the microscope. Okay, then radial loops will packed with non-chromatin histone chromosome, packaging with non-chromatin histone chromosome. Finally, it will become chromosome. Okay, so from DNA, how it reaches inside the chromosome. So first DNA, it twists around the octamer, it becomes nucleosome. Okay, 6 nucleosome will together form a solenoid. 7 solenoid together, it will be what? Further condensed to form 30 nanometer fiber. So it is the thickness is 30 nanometer. Okay, then this 30 nanometer fiber, it undergo chromatinization, so it becomes protein scaffold. It will become protein scaffold. Okay, so if you see the thickness, okay, protein scaffold in the nucleosome, it is 10 nanometer thickness. From 10 nanometer thickness, now it become 10 nanometer, now it become 30 nanometer, and in after the scaffolding of the proteins, it will become radial loop, so that is 70 nanometer thickness. Further, this radial loop packed with, that is the adjacent radial loops are held by the presence of non-histone chromosome, and it will become chromosome. Okay, non-histone chromosomal proteins hold the adjacent radial loops, and it will become what? Chromosome. Okay, so these are about package. Okay, so next day we will discuss about some experiments which shows the evidence that our genetic material is DNA.